While the modern audience and the journals across X, Instagram, and Facebook are having an absolute nuclear meltdown, manufacturing dynamic new buzzwords and calling fans of Stellar Blood Rain literal PDF files and whatever phobic tags they invented this week. I have actually been sitting down doing real research and deep diving into the actual lore of Blood Rain, and I can confidently tell you right now, this game is not the sequel you think it is. Despite what the mainstream hype train is blindly repeating, Blood Rain is a calculated prequel sequel utilizing dual protagonist structure. Eve and Evie are both in the game. But before we break down the mind-bending timeline theories, we need to completely expose the official smokescreen. And also, before we get started, I would like to tell you all that please trust me because I have played the official canon ending of the first game. So I do know what I'm talking, and let us expose the official smokescreen PR gameplay and how we are being lied to. Before we get into the exact theories of why this is a split narrative masterpiece, let me lay out the official press statements and the cold, hard, unshakable facts about Stellar Blade. We are going to look at exactly how misleading ShiftUp's marketing really is. It's classic, tactical corporate PR misdirection on the exact same level as Hideo Kojima hiding Solid Snake to sell Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2, or Capcom masking the real plot of the Devil May Cry 5 game. Look right here at the screen. In his official press interviews, CEO Kim Hyung-tae is executing a textbook corporate demotion. He is going out of his way to put down Eve, literally calling her a blank slate that lacks personality and hyping up Evie by saying that they want players to love her from the heart instead of just her physical looks. Bro, let's be entirely real here. Who are they trying to fool? ShiftUp knows damn well they became a global AAA household name because 6.1 million dedicated fans went out and bought the first game. We didn't buy a blank slate. We brought a masterclass of an IP. But they are downplaying Eve right now to pull off a massive marketing smokescreen. They want the internet to bicker over Evie being younger, shorter, and fighting with fists, so we blindly accept their statement that this is just a direct sequel taking place far out in the future. Except, the director completely slips right here. When asked why he benched Eve despite her global popularity, Kim teased, "Once you have played the sequel, you will see that Eve's backstory will be memorable." Boom, there it is. If this is a straightforward future sequel, why is playing it going to reveal Eve's backstory? Because large chunks of the game takes place in the past. Frankly, the people currently claiming this high-tech city is taking place up in the space colony are either smoking absolute weed or didn't finish the first game or are just chasing cheap clout on the hype train. But look, before we dive straight into the cold, hard evidence that completely breaks their timeline lie, quick heads up. This video is proudly sponsored by me because I don't have enough subscribers and viewers yet, so it's entirely self-sponsored. If you want to help change that, please smash that subscribe button right now and help a brother out. Let's start with the hard lore facts. Now that we have exposed the corporate marketing smokescreen, we need to establish the baseline rules of this universe. Before you listen to any wild fan theories online, you need to anchor your brain to these 7 hard, unshakable, cold facts established straight from the lore and production tracking of the first game. Fact number 1. The Space Colony Purge. Casuals see a futuristic city and assume it's Mother Sphere Orbital Sanctuary, which is also known as the Colony. Now, for the people saying it takes place in the colony, let me play you the clip of Stellar Blade 1 where Raven literally tells the colony extinction event. This alone proves that this does not take place in the colony. Here is the clip.
The rebellion started by Mother Sphere grew into a war in which mankind paid a terrible price. The humans that remained eventually evolved into the Naytibas and made their way to the colony, to Mother Sphere. To prevent the colony's contamination, Mother Sphere destroyed the orbit ring, and with it 30 of its space modules. The remnants of the orbit ring fell to the ground, causing a catastrophic wave that swept the Earth. Civilization as we know it came to an end. Look around you, a planet where only Naytibas remain. Remember, at the beginning and the end of the final war is Mother Sphere. Do not forget, we were just pawns on a twisted chessboard.
Did you guys even read the data logs? Naytibas never held high orbit. They maximum occupied low Earth orbit space stations. Mother Sphere ended that war by literally dropping those stations to Earth as mass extinction weapons. Space is a sterile vacuum. If a street is experiencing raw biological outbreaks, it is physically impossible for this to be the colony ring, as colony is purely filled with Mother Sphere and androids she manufactured. Fact number 2. The biological corruption clause. In this established lore, basic Naytibas cannot instantly corrupt or override an elite androidos born angel. That requires higher order neural dominance from an alpha Naytiba or the elder Naytiba, like we saw with Raven and Adam, Raven turning Tachi into an alpha Naytiba. Fact number 3. Adam's DNA checkmate.
Earth is too small for both our species to coexist. However, even if all the Naytibas disappear, it's impossible for your kind to succeed the human race. After all, you were created entirely from scratch, with no human DNA at all.
Adam explicitly confirms that androidos are sterile android humans with zero organic DNA. They cannot reproduce. A massive bustling city with natural human demographics and a growing population cannot exist in a post-game future because biological humanity is dead. So, when I say the biological humanity is dead, either every human died or the survivors became Naytibas. So that's impossible for a densely populated city. Fact number 4. The Squad 5 sequential math. When we visit the fandom website of Stellar Blade, fandom website shows that Evie's gear and operational background connect her to the 5th Airborne Squad. Remember who else was in the 5th Squad? Yes, exactly. It was Lily Artemis. This is chronological military sequencing. Evie was deployed before Eve's 7th Squad ever dropped. Fact number 5. The real world model. The original body model of Eve was spotted visiting Shift Up headquarters right before Blood Rain was officially announced. You don't bring the original star if she's completely discarded from the game, and it definitely was not a picnic visit either. Fact number 6. The dev team uniforms. During production updates, Shift Up's development staff were literally spotted wearing custom-made Eve 05 shirts. Fact numbers. The final step. Look at the very end of the reveal trailer. When the corporate logo names drop, the development team is explicitly stamped as Eve Studio. They aren't erasing Eve, she is embedded in the literal architecture of this project. With those 7 cold facts locked in, watch this specific trailer frame. A civilian character literally screams, "Archon, the false rain shall end in the name of Father."
Hearken! The false rain shall cease! In the name of the Father!
Right before he injects a drug and violently mutates and turns into a Naytiba. This is the definitive proof that biological humans and androidos are coexisting here. You can also observe some NPCs are literally biological humans and some are androidos without even second guessing. This dialogue, which I said, is a direct historical reference to Adam as the original father of the Naytibas and Mother Sphere regime as the false rain. He isn't fighting you, is a biological radical fighting during the initial collapse of the earth. Look at the Naytiba monsters after they mutate. They are completely imperfect. Human flesh is literally dangling off them like a banana peel, and every single one of them is wearing boots, pants and street clothes. In the first game, The natives are in their absolute birthday suits, pure, evolved, alien biochemical abominations with zero trace of human skin or fabric left. Seeing clothed, fresh mutations proves that this trailer is a flashback showing the initial outbreak waves decades before Eve set foot on this earth. See, Shift Up isn't Sucker Punch. They aren't about to completely sideline a protagonist like Jin Sakai to chase superficial corporate DI checkmarks. And they definitely are not insomniacs out here nerfing Peter Parker to forcefully glorify Miles Morales for some consulting group's validation, which you all know, which is Sweet Baby Inc. Shift Up knows exactly who made them famous and who made them absolute bank. It's the OG 6.1 million dedicated players who brought the first game and fought tooth and nail against the corporate censorship of Eve's outfits, forcing the developers to step up and deliver the Midsummer Alice and Midsummer Red Hood variants to fix the colors. They respect their community way too much to pull a cheap bait and switch. Benching Eve for the entirety of the game would completely alienate the very audience that built this franchise. Shift Up isn't replacing her, they're setting up a masterpiece. So let's look at the only 4 logical ways this dual timeline prequel sequel is actually going to play out. Theory 1. The GTA 5 dual sandbox. The first option is the Grand Theft Auto approach. Evie somehow survives the historical tragedy of the 5th Airborne Squad's failure. In the present day, she is still active on Earth, and the game allows you to seamlessly switch back and forth between a cosmic, post-game evolved Eve and a grounded, brutal CQC focused Evie, blending 2 completely different combat styles into one massive sandbox. Theory 2. The Red Dead Redemption 2 Tragic Legacy. The second and highly likely option is the Red Dead Redemption 2 approach. Because we know Earth eventually becomes a total graveyard, Evie's flashback timeline is a guaranteed tragedy. Her squad fails, the city falls, and Evie unfortunately dies. But remember what Eve does in the first game. Her core mechanic is absorbing the memory and power cores of the fallen angels. In this scenario, Eve discovers Evie's resting place or core in the present day, and absorbing it triggers this massive playable flashback sequences, inheriting her combat skills to finish what the 5th squad started. Theory number 3. The Mother Sphere Simulation. Theory 3 is the digital matrix. The idea is that this highly functional city isn't real at all, but a hyper-advanced tactical simulation run by Mother Sphere inside the colony to train a new Andro ADOS units or analyze the historical data of the initial outbreak. While it's possible, it's highly unlikely because Shift Up prefers raw, high-stakes biological stakes over it was all a dream simulation tropes. Theory number 4. The RE9 Requiem dynamic. Finally, we have the Resident Evil line style balance. A perfectly structured narrative split where the game is cleanly divided into alternating acts. You play a chapter as Evie, experiencing the desperate, horrifying close quarters panic of a collapsing biological civilization, followed immediately by a chapter as Eve using god-tier cosmic powers to dismantle the aftermath in the present day. It gives you the perfect contrast between survival horror and elite hack and slash action. Theory number 5. The Dragon Ball Xenoverse timeline fracture style. Bro, if you want the absolute ultimate mic drop truth that resolves every single contradiction we just uncovered, we have to talk about theory number 5, the Dragon Ball Xenoverse approach. Let's do the actual cold, hard lore math here. We know from the first game that Lily Artemis belonged to the Squad 5, and the fandom website also states that Evie is possibly from the 5th Squad as well. And we all know that the Squad 5, which was deployed exactly 2 years before Eve's 7th Squad ever dropped. But think about what Earth actually looked like 2 years before Eve arrived. It was already an absolute, hollowed-out, apocalyptic wasteland. Humanity was completely extinct. Androidos survivors were scrambling in the dirt, and Xion was literally the only functioning sanctuary left standing on the entire planet. So tell me, how does a pristine, bustling, hyper-futuristic metropolis packed with everyday civilians, working subways, and street riots exist under those exact timeline rules? It's physically impossible. The only logical answer is that Blood Rain is throwing us into a completely fractured timeline or an active historical correction mode run by Mother Spear. You aren't just playing a standard sequel, you are playing through an altered history to fix or reveal how Eve's world came to be. It perfectly explains how the game stands alone for casuals who just wants to kick ass in a shiny city, while giving us veterans that mind-bending "oh, so that's how it turned out to be" realization. I would also like to point out a prediction that in 2027, this will be a huge toxic clash based on how female characters will be portrayed in video games, as Lara Croft on one corner with the upcoming new Tomb Raider game, and Evie plus Eve on the other corner with Stellar Blade Blood Rain, and Jordan from Intergalactic, which everyone's dunking on, and God of War Luffy, which the community is divided on, will be the heated clash next year as to who's winning and who's losing. Basically, a mega culture war. Shift Up thinks they pulled a fast one on us with this corporate PR, but the lore logs don't lie, bro. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments which of these four theories do you think is hitting the nail on the head. Are we looking at the tragic RDR2 core absorption, or are we getting a full GTA 5 dual sandbox? Drop your thoughts below, smash that subscribe button to help a growing channel out, and I'll see you guys in the next lore breakdown. Peace. Thank you. Bye bye. Love you all.